All right, many thanks for joining us to yet another episode of the Policon, where we discuss politics and economics. My name is Jerome Posonko. Welcome aboard to Smart 24 TV. You are watching, and of course, obviously, we are on DSTV channel 372. That is via mainstream, and GoTV is channel 394 for more. And beyond that, if you want to stream live and get more updates, that is by going onto our YouTube channel, Smart 24 TV Live. But also do remember to subscribe to at least keep on getting notifications of any new program, as well as any new business report that comes up in real time. The website is www.smart24.tv/news for both local and international reports. Now, besides that, it's a pretty much a time when we also trying to get done with the month of February. It is at least the second month is also coming to an end. The year 2023 again looking to be one that has to be taken very seriously as we move further. As we definitely discuss all these matters here, trying to analyze different political and economic aspects in the country, we break them down by at least understanding how the two affecting or impacting onto the lives of the normal Ugandan. And with the political and economic show like the Policon here on Smart 24, we make sure we bring all those answers to you as well. And of course, this is definitely where your questions get to be pursued, and your answers will definitely find a reason to why you shouldn't doubt in any kind of policy that has been aligned by members of parliament. But besides that, as I did mention earlier, we talk politics and economics here. And in today's topic of discussion, we are literally going to be focusing on conversations rotating around the loan performance in the country. And one may ask, loan performance, that is what we want to understand. Just a week ago, Parliament has been trying to receive, if I'm to say, to receive different sectors and different ministries, that is reports from these sectors regarding how their loans performed, or how the loans that they took from the Ministry of Finance have performed, and what next should be done as we are waiting for the budget of the 2023-2024 financial year to be presented before Ugandans as well. The budget framework paper was already released, of course, but these are some of the sectorial meetings that do happen before the committee, the different various committees, to analyze and seek the performance of different sectors before we actually approve the new budget allocations. Now, our topic of discussion, like I did mention, is rotating around pretty much how the poor loan performance does affect the economic and social development of the country. I'm Jerome Posonko, and joining me to discuss more about these particular conversations, I do have Honorable Atugonza Allen, who is a Member of Parliament Bulisa, and pretty much also a Member of Parliament who does sit on the National Economy Committee in Parliament. Many thanks for joining us, Honorable.
Thank you, Tonko.
Okay, yeah. And for the viewers that would wish to understand, what does the National Economy Committee do before we even dive into our conversation?
Thank you, Tonko.
Yes.
And once again, our viewers, I'm Alan Atugonza. I'm a Member of Parliament for Bulisa County. What the National Economic Committee of Parliament does, we have a number of roles, but today, as you rightfully said, we are the ones who advise Parliament on issues to do with government borrowing, loans, monitoring them, and also monitoring the state of our economy in this country. So we are, under our rules of procedure, we have specific roles, but all geared towards monitoring the economy of this country.
Okay, yeah. And I think that brings it out when it comes to the National Economic Committee. Speaking of loan performances, first of all, what would the Ugandan understand by loan performance? Or let's say, because this is the reason as to why the committees are sitting and why sectors are meeting to at least report back how the loans they took from government are performing. What does it imply?
Loan performance is about how, you know, as government, you are aware we have a budget that we can't fully finance.
Yes.
Because of that fact, we end up borrowing from externally and sometimes internally. So whenever we borrow, that's a loan. Now, be external, internal, now it's upon Parliament to approve that loan and to monitor it, how it has performed. So in simple terms, loan performance is monitoring how the money that we borrowed is being used by the sector. That's what we mean by loan performance.
Okay.
Yes.
So how it is being used.
Yes.
And then why then you did mention that because we cannot finance our budgets,
Yes.
does it mean that almost all sectors in the economy end up applying for these loans?
Yeah. All sectors in our economy end up applying for the loans. But we have those sectors that really we try to finance using our local revenue,
Yes.
like defense. So apart from that, you'll find most of these sectors have a component of a loan in them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And by the look of things, how successful have some of these loans been to some of the sectors?
That is really a challenge in this country. As you are aware, we are now reviewing the performance, and we have been reviewing the performance before, including Parliament facilitating us for field visits.
Yeah.
It is a big challenge, I have to say, and we have really to come together, and as Parliament, as all arms of government, we must focus on how our loans are being used, and in terms how is the performance of our loans, because we have found it wanting in that most of these loans, wherever we are giving these loans, we have, of course, they seek approval from us, and the objective is good. You just really see it is going to transform our society. The objectives are really going to move us from a low income into a middle income economy.
Yes.
For the transformation of our society. But on ground, whenever money is disbursed, loans are disbursed, we are finding that area wanting, seriously wanting. One, sectors are diverting money which were to areas which were not approved by Parliament, which is illegal. We are finding that there is a lot of misuse of public funds.
Okay.
Yes.
And now, by the look of things, what then happens, for example, when a sector, or let's say a ministry, is trying to apply for the loan? First take us through the steps. For example, if a government entity under a ministry wants to apply for a loan, what is the procedure to get this loan, and who disburses the loan, or who approves the loan?
This is completely, it first goes through the executive structures.
Okay.
From their planning unit, I think ministry's planning unit. They assess the need of a fund and a loan. They discuss it. It goes up to cabinet level.
Okay.
And if approved, it goes through the Ministry of Finance. Then the Ministry of Finance is the one that comes to Parliament to request for this loan. And wherever it is brought to the attention of the Speaker, they always refer it to our committee, the Committee of National Economy,
okay,
for assessing it, whether we need it. Then we advise Parliament on that particular loan. There are loans we have rejected,
okay,
but in specific terms, this one, whenever we approve or we advise Parliament to approve, they approve, then it goes back to the executive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Loans now, for example, which kind of loans have been under what circumstances does the committee disapprove a specific loan?
There are a number of factors, but the one we have rejected was about the high interest rate. Okay. Yeah, we at the committee, we assessed the loan and found the interest rates were high. Then two, normally we prefer concession loans.
All right.
So you find they bring in domestic loans. So we normally have issues. Whenever we are assessing, we consider a number of issues. Then sometimes you find we assess the objective of the loan, whether we need it or not at the country. So we consider a number of issues before we reject or accept a loan.
I also wish to understand loans. Are we getting these loans directly from our commercial banks, or do we normally get them from the central bank, or we look up for the International Monetary Fund and World Bank, all those international financial organizations?
Yeah, we get to what what executive does.
Yes.
It goes out there to source for a funder, for a funder. And of course, they would prefer the cheapest, they would prefer the best. Under normal circumstances, these international funders, organizations like World Bank and IMF would be the best. But you find sometimes, because they are strict in terms of fiscal, in terms of debt management, you find the government ends up going to borrow from a domestic or for a commercial loan or concession, or from these other partners like China, Exim, and the rest. But it depends on how attractive the loan is, or the objective to the funder.
Okay.
Yes, and also to us, the country.
Okay.
Yes.
And well, of course, if we had to look at these loans that have been taken, I do believe some of them are actually being implemented in a way that is, because someone may wish to ask first, we've heard of supplementary budgets.
Yes.
When you look at supplementary budgets, are these the same kind of loans that we are trying to understand here, or the supplementary budget is quite a different one?
Whenever government brings the budget to Parliament,
yes,
we discuss it, we go through the process, as you know, budget framework papers, up to when we approve the budget. What happens in supplementary budget, whenever government feels, after the approval of the budget, they may find out they forgot some priorities. Then they come with what we call the supplementary budget to request for more funds from Parliament, to make sure that they are funded to fund the activities which they didn't cater for in the budget.
Yes.
Having said that, so with that supplementary budget, it may, of course, it may end up being funded by loan money. Okay. In that government may not have local revenue or sources to fund its supplementary budget, ends up getting money from borrowing money for funding the activities.
Okay.
It's in the supplementary budget.
And by the look of things, when we look at these loans that are actually being taken, how would you tell that it has, if we had to go back a little bit, maybe 1 year back,
yeah,
before the current budget was presented, yes, these loans that are actually being taken, do they perform according to their expectations, the majority, or almost all of them fail to live up to the expectations?
I think that's why we have a problem as a country, and as Parliament we have to take a stand and start calling a government to back to its role of making sure they deliver services to the people. Whenever Parliament approves a loan, it's a loan that we have assessed that will transform and improve the life of our people,
yes,
and grow our GDP. In the process, we have realized, unfortunately, that money is being misappropriated. The performance of the loan is not adequately, the loans are not adequately utilized,
yes,
by these institutions. That brings us to now the point where we are finding it difficult to move to the middle income as a country because of the poor performance of these loans. A number of loans, as you have realized this week, we have rejected the reports. We have realized the corruption, poor substandard work, and this is loan money we have to pay back. You find we have taken a loan, but you have not achieved the objective to which we borrowed the money for. So that one will really keep us struggling as a country.
Okay.
And that's what we need to address as a nation. Yeah.
Okay, and let's now look at some of the institutional factors affecting this poor performance, because maybe we may think that it's because Parliament has not done enough to address these matters, but there may be some issues that first of all are affecting the performance that need to be tackled. But by the look of things, what do you think those are?
I think we have, this is broad. Okay. It needs concerted effort. We really need as a country to let institutions work, and real institutions should work, not for the sake. We shouldn't have institutions which are not biting. The loans we have really assessed, or the performance, maybe loans we have been assessing of recent, you could find they have done substandard work. You give out a loan, it is meant to construct 6 lanes of the road of a certain standard. The standard is compromised, money is paid to the contractor, and it seems all is well. Okay. So meaning the life expectancy of a road, which you emphasized will be 50 years, ends up being 5 years or 10 years. Now we subject Ugandans to repair costs. Why a road of 6 lanes of 50 years lifespan would cost us dearly as a country, would end up, it's now an open secret. Our nation is the highest in terms of per kilometer cost of a road. Now, if that is, if we are doing it because of quality, that would be good. But we are still compromising the quality, meaning we thought we would tackle an institution or a sector and finish. We go to another sector like that. So we thought we were tackling the infrastructure, roads and the electricity sector. If we finish with that, we can go now to hospitals, health and other sectors, education. But this keeps us in the same sectors, making sure that we don't leave, because now money has been misappropriated. People have corruptly spent the money, hence affecting the quality of a project. We will stay in the same circles. Now, this is the level we should now move away from. We should now curb corruption, whereby now these officers who are found culpable in corruption are punished. And when we do that, our country will move at terrible speed.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I do believe when you mentioned some of those particular things, inclusive of which is the level of corruption,
yes,
in the country, and bribery, that has led to at least the poor performance of these loans.
Yes.
And of course, for the viewers out there, as you're watching, we are still discussing matters to do with how the poor loan performance in the country is affecting the social and economic development of this nation of ours. Of course, most of the ministries and different sectors under these ministries do apply for these loans in one way or the other to complete certain projects or programs that they had apparently planned for before the financial year, and sometimes the money is given to them. Some do claim the money is less again and it's not completed. I don't know, why do we have such complaints coming into the country whereby sectors still say even the loans that we were given were not enough, or the money that we were given through these loans wasn't enough?
You see that now, that's the corruption I'm talking about.
Okay.
Before you ask for the loan, you have asked for the loan to construct or to work on a project, to deal with a project up to completion.
Yes.
In between, a project stalls at 50%. You have done feasibility study. You have the bills of quantities.
Yes.
You are experienced. We think you are an expert in this job. We expect you to plus minus 5%, not 50%.
50%.
But you find a project stalled. We have a number of projects with loan money stalled here in this country. Projects which were transformational in nature. Projects which were going to transform the livelihood of our people. With impunity, a person reports that it is stalled at 50%, and such a person comes back to ask for more money, or without any punitive measure, nothing. You need to explain what an oversight. 50%, 10% is understandable, but 50% is unacceptable. Okay. You know, we have had issues, a number of excuses, which I think I think are regrettable. Okay. We can't have these excuses all this time. Yes. COVID, money wasn't enough, challenges of a supplier abandoned the project. How did you select him? Competitively, how did you select him? So we really have to deal with that issue. It all rotates about corruption, okay, and incompetence in the ministries.
Let's talk a little bit about blame games. Yes. If we are to blame a sector or a given ministry, yeah, for example, if the Uganda National Roads Authority does, yes, apply for a loan to complete a certain road and everything, who is to blame when it does fail? The Ministry of Works and Transport, or we directly hit it to UNRA? Because I need to as well understand, if UNRA wants to get this money, is it going to go direct to the account of the government body, or it has to go through the ministry?
UNRA have had that privilege as the parastatal. We have, okay, they have been receiving money directly. Okay. In that, who to blame? I think the minister is a supervisor
of what UNRA is doing.
Yes, the PS and even the ED plus the technical staff. This goes to all the supervisors. Okay. It goes to all the supervisors to take their job seriously and supervise. It's not just a word like calling you a supervisor. You should be seen to be supervising an institution or an organization. We can't exonerate you because you feel it is UNRA. No. Even you as a supervisor, what have you been doing? In these briefs, what have you been getting? Inspection. If it's a road, this is a clear project. You'd see the progress of the road. Yes. You have technical people in the ministry who ought to advise you whether you are progressing on well or not. And because there is no supervision, because now the technical people have realized the weakness of the political wing and their supervisors, they tend to go away with a number of things. Where they designed a road to have a bridge, they don't put it there. Where they designed the road to have a channel, they are not put there. And a political head commissioned it. We have one of the projects in my constituency where, okay, the design, they didn't follow the design, and the minister had come to commission it. I said no, it wasn't commissioned. Up to now, it's not commissioned. They tried to rectify. People come, give fake lights on the road. They dim by 11 in the PM. They are not working. Yes. I said no, they have changed them. I pushed them. They have replaced all of them. They had to bring them from China. Okay. They have replaced them, and we are now okay with it. So I think supervision on the side of oversight, also us, we are to blame. If all of us from different parts of the country, okay, can oversight these people on projects, government projects, which is our role, I think we would be doing better. The problem is information. We're not given information.
All right.
Yeah.
And well, for the viewers out there, we are still discussing matters to deal with at least the poor loan performance and how it does affect the economic and social development of the country. Well, after the break, we're going to be taking our eyes now to the National Economic Committee, where different sectors and different sectorial departments under different ministries have been appearing before the same committee, the National Economic Committee, to at least give reports on how the different loans performed, or how the loans that they took performed, how they made sure that they put good use to them, and also be accountable for the ones that poorly performed? These are some of the key discussions that we're going to be having immediately after the break, because we do have Honorable Atugonza, who is also part of the same committee. So at least clearly he'll be giving us one of the reasons as to why some of the other governmental sectors or institutions were sent back with poor reports, and why or what does the committee consider to be a good report on the loan performance, and which one is the bad one, or which one does look invalid in one way or the other. You're still watching the Policon, where we discuss politics and economics. After the break, we discuss more of that and our conversations literally talking about loan performance, or how poor loan performance does affect the social and economic development of the country. Keep it smart. 24 TV, where we drive your business.